Why aren't you on Mom's team?
I don't sell real estate.
And you don't care to.
I used to sell real estate. So that's kind of like my story. So I sold real estate out of college, and then I got married, and my husband was in the Army. So we bopped around for like 10 years. And I realized it was really hard to get like licensed, and sometimes we were only in a state for like 4 or 6 months. So that's when I started my company.
And
so I don't sell. We like manage contracts for realtors.
Military family as well, but we only did 4 years, so we didn't have the problem of like
But still,
bopping around.
it's hard.
It is hard to like reestablish. And
Yeah.
because real estate is a relationship, you have to be there for the most part.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas
you
what
do.
you're doing now, you could be anywhere, correct?
Mine is also relationships, but it's just grown, and I've been doing it for 10 years
But
now.
your relationships are with the agents, not with
consumers.
consumers. So like if you move from here to like Georgia, you wouldn't have to worry about.
Exactly. And I only like built relationships with agents here. So even when I was in Georgia, Alabama, Alaska, North Carolina, I only worked here.
Yeah.
So I lived afar.
That's what I'm saying. It's great because it doesn't matter about where you live anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so smart.
I know. And then like we got really lucky with COVID because my team, I have 7 people on my team.
Holy moly, I didn't realize you had.
Yeah. Yeah. And
such a
we've
big
all
team.
worked remotely the entire time. And so now everyone's kind of getting pushed back into the office, and we're just like sitting pretty at home in our joggers.
That's it.
So,
Now,
yeah.
how did you pick your team?
Experience, personalities. Yeah, I try to keep my team small but full of like people with a lot of experience and people who mesh well. So building culture from afar is something I've really had to work on because I could get people who are great at what they do, great at the job, but that's not all that it's about. You know, it really is about a brand at this point. So we have a brand to our business. So getting people who kind of get along, well, we all get along, but who share similar values, but also have great experience in the work. So that's really where it's come from.
What would you say your values are? As a team?
Values, integrity, transparency.
So important in real estate.
It really, really is. So that is like our team word for 2024 is transparency, because I'm really big on transparency. I like to have hard conversations. I like people to come to me and say, you know, this is working, this isn't working, and then find a solution. But I feel like if you're not transparent and you don't know, you aren't aware of things, then it's harder to fix them. So I really value people who are transparent and who can come to me and have hard conversations to make things better.
Now, why would you say, or why do you believe you are so comfortable with having hard conversations? Because that's not something that is normal, especially for women, I think.
I have always been good at having hard
could be an army wife?
conversations. I think, well, maybe. Like, I think it's not that I don't have emotions, but I'm a big problem solver. So I don't necessarily let my emotions lead the way or let my emotions taint my view. So I think having hard conversations and being able to be introspective and be like, yeah, I could be better there. I think my husband is really open-minded, way more open-minded than I am. So he's really taught me a lot about seeing other perspectives. Maybe it's not the same as yours, but being able to listen to it and learn from it. So
I feel like that's so needed in our world, not even just our area or our culture, but just in the world, being able to see things from the other side.
You don't necessarily have to agree,
No.
but you can respect people. So that's another one of our values for sure is respect. You do not have to agree. You don't have to feel the same way, but you can respect one another and be kind. So that is a huge value, respect.
So in terms of growing your business of 8 people now, correct, with you?
7.
7.
7
okay.
with me.
Okay. What are you looking at in the next year, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, that's a hard question. And people ask that all the time. You know, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you see yourself in 5? It's a hard question to answer. I want my company to grow in a way, so continue to provide exceptional service, continue to build relationships, I didn't start my company with the idea of it being more than just me. So seeing it get bigger and seeing it impact other people's lives, so my team members, seeing them living great lives because of a company that we've built together, that has become a big priority for me. So I think just watching my team grow and succeed, building relationships with not just agents, but vendors, home inspectors, lenders. People call us and have real life conversations. And it's funny because it's really turned from just this service to a lifestyle and relationship building. So I see the company growing in that way, continuing its brand of amazing customer service and just service in general. And yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, the market fluctuates. It comes and goes, highs and lows. So we'll see what it does. But so far, we've been able to withstand. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Now, you're able to service additional agents outside of this area, right? Or do you have to have special?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So contracts are so different in each state. And that's kind of where I learned, you know, being in Alaska and selling real estate there and seeing how different it was here. So yes, you can manage in different states as long as you understand the contract. And I think it's really important. I mean, we are a knowledgeable resource for agents. So we really want to make sure we understand the contract, understand the process, understand what's needed, even having relationships with vendors in different areas. So we kind of slowly grow. We service Virginia, Maryland, DC, West Virginia, and then we went into Florida this past year. So
Why Florida?
Florida, well, interesting. A lot of people from here during COVID
They
started going to Florida.
That's why I asked.
Exactly. So we had some agents who were
Second home
here
ones
and they went to Florida.
Yeah.
And then last summer or last winter, I guess, I went down there for a couple of months to kind of feel the market and also get some sunshine.
Yeah.
So it worked out really well.
Do you get a second house out there?
Oh, maybe one day. I would love to. Yeah, I am not a cold weather girl.
Yeah.
So I would love to go back south. We were in North Carolina for 4 years and it was perfect. I loved it. You kind of, you know, had some sort of season, but the month of February was a little bit cold. It never froze. I was happy there. So if I can get back down south, I would be happy.
You'd be okay with that. That's funny. Now, is your husband here? Is he out of
He's
the
out
Army?
of the
Okay.
Army. He's in the government now, though.
Okay.
So he
So he'll
does
be here
work
for a
in
little while.
DC. Yeah, so we're here. He actually got a job with a startup company during COVID, which was really cool. So he did that, and then he went back into the government, which was the plan. So he's in DC, working in DC.
Okay, cool. So he'll be here for a little while.
Yeah. I don't have real plans to leave.
Yeah.
Like you said, second house so I can get away from the cold, but my family's here and my work is here, and yeah, it's a beautiful life here. So
What do you do outside of work?
I have a horse. So I have always been a horse girl. My whole life I've competed. I have a horse, I keep him out in Round Hill, and I do the sport of 3-day eventing. So it's like a triathlon for horses. So there's 3 different phases on one horse, and I love it. It's, you know, a partnership. I love the journey. I'm lucky enough now. When I was younger, we had 20 acres. My mom and I lived out on the farm. I did all the mowing, we did all the horse care. Now I'm really lucky. I keep him at an amazing facility with amazing people who take care of him, and I'm lucky enough to just show up and love him and ride him and train, but they take amazing care of him for me, so
That's
very
beautiful.
lucky.
Horses are such beautiful.
Yeah, that is my
animals.
passion. It always
Yeah.
has been, so I love them.
I love it. We did a video for a horse farm, and just like being around the horses was just like,
It
they're
does
just so
something.
beautiful,
Like
yeah.
I go to the barn and I'm like wound up and stressed, and then by the time I leave, it's like my blood, everything is just totally chill. So I'm lucky to have it.
That's amazing. And what's your horse's name?
Q.
Q?
Q like the letter. Yeah.
Okay.
I call
You
him
say Q-U-E?
Cucumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cucumber.
Cute. So cute. What type of horse? Not that I would know, but.
He's a German sport horse.
Okay.
So funny thing about him is I found him online. So it was like a blind date.
Yeah.
He was over in Germany.
Match.com, but for
Yeah,
horses.
Match.com, German style. He was over in Germany, and it was less expensive by about 50% to buy him and ship him here
Oh, wow.
than it would have been to buy a horse here.
Oh, my.
So I bought him, shipped him, he flew on a plane to get here, and then he showed up, and he is just lovely. So yeah, he's been fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could buy horses from overseas.
Literally on a video. Yeah.
Is that like the Russian brides, but German one?
Q is my Russian bride.
Sorry.
That's funny.
In terms of like hard lessons that you've learned or challenges that you've learned, do any pop up to mind?
Trying to think which one, because there's so many, and in business, in leadership, it's one thing kind of growing a business, and I feel like you always learn by doing something incorrectly. Like we truly have learned and grown and perfected based on doing something wrong and then fixing it. Leadership has been one of the more challenging pieces for me. I can kind of be a hamster wheel. I can just get on that wheel, just keep going, just keep working harder. But when you're leading other people, you have to have different perspectives and you have to solve problems in different ways. So I would say the lessons I've learned from leading my team through challenges has been
The biggest challenge.
the biggest challenge of all. Mm-hmm.
Do you think was it hard for you to move from one person business to team leader of 6 others?
It's kind of been a slow roll in a way. I've grown my team over the years, so it wasn't like a one-time thing. I've had a business coach for almost 5 years, Krissy Grossman. She's incredible. Awesome. And I don't think my business would be where it is today if I didn't have Krissy, because it was just shining a light in a direction. When you start a company, you don't necessarily know what it's going to be or where and how to get there. And Krissy would just shine the light and help me learn systems, ways of thinking, ways of doing things. So she has really helped guide me to grow my team over the years.
That's great, especially because it sounds like you really, number one, because they're remote, or they work from home.
Yeah.
And remote. And then number 2, you really have a sense of culture and you've got your values and
exactly.
Everybody needs to mesh well together.
Exactly. So having that culture and having those similar values from afar, it doesn't work for all people. Yeah. So it's been a slow growth, but it has paid off because my team is incredible. So I'm very lucky.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So have you always had a coach? Has it always been her?
It's always been Krissy.
Okay.
She's the only coach I've had. And I have worked with Krissy for probably close to 5 years, 5 out of almost 10. So the first almost 5, I did not have a coach. And but it really was primarily me bopping around with the military. And then I think things really started picking up in 2019. And then 2020, COVID, real estate market went insane. Yeah. So, I was really lucky to have her.
I need help.
Yes, please show me how.
I have lots of clients.
Yeah.
Not enough people.
Yeah, exactly.
How much or how little has your mom played?
Oh my gosh.
Sue Smith,
my
for
mom,
anybody who doesn't know.
She's a legend for starters. Yeah. Having her guidance personally and professionally, I can't even explain. She radiates positivity where I don't always, so she kind of helps me keep that positive outlook. Her knowledge, her reputation in the industry speaks for itself. She's been doing this for 35 years, so she's been doing this since I was in the womb. So a long time I've been in the real estate world, but I've learned so much more about her and who she really is through my business, really, because I meet a lot of people who she works with, and I now work with a lot of people who she has worked with over the years. And she is a role model and truly just a legend in the industry. So I have been so lucky to learn from her in all areas of my life.
I had to mention it because, she is a legend in our area.
She is. Oh,
and she's
so
like a
proud
positive ray of sunshine everywhere she goes.
And that is truly like who she is and how she is. As my mom, I can say that. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Really lucky.
Because sometimes you see people and you're like, there's no way they're actually like that all the time. Yeah.
No, she is truly that way. It is her core. And I've learned so much from her. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
And how lucky you are to like have that, because you know, most of us in business, we kind of start from literally
True.
scraps, and we
Yeah.
have no idea
Yeah.
what to expect. So
Yeah. Yeah. And my role is a little bit different
Yeah.
from selling. Well, it's very different from selling. But regardless, she's kind of helped me and gave me the baseline. And then I've been able to learn over the years by doing it. So,
adding onto it with experience.
yes. Yeah. A lot of experience.
So to kind of wrap things up, if you had like one message to share with the world, what would that message be?
My message would be, and it's kind of one of kindness. So I just have learned in business and in life, you catch more bees with honey than vinegar, right? Is that the saying? And I just really believe that. It takes no extra effort to be kind, to always come from a place of kindness. And that's something I've had to learn over the years too, because I've been so intense and I'm a competitor, horses, business, and I've really had to learn, not learn kindness, but to always come from a place of kindness. So that has been a big part of my life, I'd say, for the last couple of years is treating people with kindness. And it is amazing to see the difference when I work with people who are kind of nasty and I work with people who are kind, the effect it has on everyone involved when people are kind. You can get to the same place and you can get there on a much smoother path when you're kind.
Especially in the real estate world,
It's
you've
too
got
small.
lots of characters and personalities
Oh,
involved in
yeah.
the transaction. If you've got one,
Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's so many emotions. And for
Yeah.
us, this is something we do every day. We know the contract, we know the process. But your average buyer and seller, they do a handful of transactions their entire life.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to just take a step back, take a breath, and come at every situation with kindness.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for being on the show. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
So fun. Thank you.